Welcome, everybody, to the Ring Generals podcast. Today on the show, our triple threat topics are Monday Night Raw. All three of the Ring Generals attended WWE Monday Night Raw, so we're going to give you all the news from that show because we were literally there and we saw it live. Second topic of the day, WWE SmackDown and John Cena, what they're doing with him. Also, rumors about Rey Mysterio returning and possibly facing John Cena. That's the second topic. And the third topic, we're going to dive into a little UFC news. Obviously, if you've been watching WWE, there's been rumors about Brock Lesnar taking pictures with Dana White and all the UFC guys. And also, Jon Jones banned from fighting in the state of California. We'll talk about all of that, but we're going to start with Monday Night Raw. Of course, we have to start with Monday Night Raw, guys.
You didn't introduce us?
My bad. I am Nick Nenad.
I am Eric.
I'm the RKJ Man. Let's talk that talk, y'all.
Yeah, let's go. So Monday Night Raw, we were all three of us were there, like I just mentioned. And guys, that was such a fun show to go to.
It was fun, definitely. You know, this was my third wrestling event, but my first WWE Raw event. But I got to say, I was impressed. And I know for you, RKJ Man, this was your first one, wasn't it?
It was awesome. It was fantastic to see everything up close and live, to see how they run a show. It truly is a production. The WWE runs a legit production of their TV shows. It's fun to see because when you see it on TV, you don't realize how much that goes into everything, and I have a few criticisms. I feel like I feel like y'all got manipulated by Roman Reigns, but that's okay. That's Ryan Rant's material. We're gonna talk that talk later.
Yeah, definitely. And there were some huge pops, especially with Goldust when we first saw Goldust. Ryan,
I went crazy for Goldust. He got a great pop.
Goldie.
That was just a pre-show match.
No, Goldust is loved. I mean, I love Goldust. Good old Goldie.
Yeah, and then Finn Balor too.
Yeah.
Nick, we took when we got that after we got back from taking the pictures of the championship belt. Like Finn Balor got a great.
I was
reaction.
Walking down the steps doing his little stuff. Yeah, that was cool. It
was awesome. It was awesome. Overall, great show. 3 hours though, man, it's still long.
It does.
Yeah, no. What's funny is we were sitting there, and I could have been okay with just 2 hours of that show. There were some parts of Raw where you're kind of sitting there, and it's like, okay, let's get on to like the next thing. It is interesting. I've always kind of been a little bit in favor of the 3-hour show because I felt like they wanted to get more guys over, and I never complained. But actually being there and having to sit through the commercials, because normally I don't watch the commercials either when I watch Raw. I tape it and I watch and get to the commercials. But sitting there for 3 hours, and really you're sitting there for 4 hours because you get there 30 minutes early and then you stay 30 minutes after for the after show match,
which was a great dark match.
Absolutely, yeah. And so you're really sitting there for 4 hours watching wrestling, and it does get a little bit much. Obviously, when the good stuff happens, you're excited and it's all that, but I compare it kind of to a baseball game in the 6th inning sometimes when you're watching Raw. It's like, okay, we could have done without that segment. And, if this was 2 hours or whatever, 2 hours and 15 minutes, this would have been a little bit better. But I think that's a little bit nitpicking. The show was actually really good when we were there. One of the better Raws I've seen in a while, and we were actually there to see it.
I compare actually going to events with the WWE like a baseball game. It's boring sometimes on television, but when you're there in person, it's actually much more entertaining and interesting to watch.
Absolutely, yeah.
So, I just think that, we had, we were sitting there for so long, you get a little hungry, you get a little tired, and you kind of just want to get up and walk around a little bit. But overall, Monday Night Raw was a good show. We didn't really see that many backstage segments. Did y'all see the show afterwards and see? I mean, I didn't see any backstage segments really besides the limo coming up, which had no sense. It made no sense, by the way.
Well, as soon as I got home and I went to go see the event, during the match between Finn Balor and Miz, there was a backstage segment with Seth Rollins, and Seth Rollins was talking about how he wants to challenge Finn Balor Miz for the IC title at WrestleMania. Yeah, this was right after he beat Miz. And I'm like, whoa, I didn't see this. I'm like, okay, it's kind of okay. This is how they do backstage segments. Is that
it's pre-taped? Yeah,
it's pre-taped. So they will take it like if you are not going to see any of the backstage segments live on the show unless there's a fight going on backstage with like Elias and Braun Strowman. Remember when Strowman was chasing Elias, okay, we can get that. But as far as interviews, I don't think that's. I don't know.
I don't think it was pre-taped because what did it look like he'd wrestled when he was doing the interview?
Yeah,
I think they just don't show it on the screen. I don't think it's pre-taped because it'd be hard for Rollins to pre-tape.
I mean, all you gotta do is douse some water on your body, and then
I know,
it makes you look sweaty.
What's the point? Might as well have him just hit his promo after the match. I don't think they pre-taped that, but no, I think with backstage segments, and it's when you actually watch the very beginning of Raw, we were kind of sitting in the stands and we're waiting for Alexa and Mickey to finally talk. And they just would not talk, and
because we were waiting on the camera guy.
Well, that and the announcers were like previewing the show for like the first 2 minutes and stuff like that. So it was it's a little interesting. You kind of got to deal with all that waiting and stuff. But obviously, when you're there and you're listening to the guys hit the ring and stuff when they're wrestling, it's a lot better than when you're watching on TV. One other thing I had to say was the people on the mic. The mic is not as loud as I thought it would be when they're in the ring. And what's funny is I'd been to a show before and I'd heard people talking on the mic, but I didn't remember that it wasn't really that loud. I remember when Alexa Bliss was talking in the beginning of the show, it was kind of hard to hear at first because the crowd was excited and all that. And then when a guy like The Miz comes on, he's yelling the whole time, so it's a little easier to hear. But
that was a great promo.
That was pretty good for Miz. Yeah.
Absolutely. But I would have thought that the mic might have been a little louder. Again, these are nitpicking little things, and like I said, the show was great, but it was interesting to see that the mic wasn't as loud as I thought it would be.
As far as people we saw, I mean, I saw Noelle Foley literally walking right past.
That was interesting.
Walk right past Noelle Foley, and a guy was shooting his shot. With her and her friends. So
I had to get it in again this week.
Yeah, I can't do anything about it if another person is shooting a shot. And plus, Noelle Foley's got a boyfriend. She's literally dating a clown, y'all. She's literally dating a dude who's a clown.
Yeah,
dating a clown. No, but I did not see anybody famous during the show. I missed the Noelle Foley.
Yeah, I text you too.
I was buying a $55 beer at the concession stand.
I don't know why you were buying that beer, man. It's so expensive, man.
$15 at the Honda Center for a beer, man.
Anything at a stadium or like an event, they're always going to jack up the price, dude.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
God, I feel sorry for y'all going to WrestleMania, man. In New Orleans, whew, imagine how much that's going to be.
You better get drunk before.
Yeah, you better get drunk, stone, whatever, man. You just better get.
Man, sneak that whiskey in there, man.
Yeah.
Sneak the whiskey into the Superdome.
Do what you got to do, man.
Oh, but so let's start going over kind of more about what happened in the show. Obviously, we had a lot of fun, and we enjoyed being there. But topics of the show, I think one of the biggest things, at least for me, and we'll kind of dive into the Roman Reigns manipulation that you want to talk about a little later, but. Brock Lesnar no show in the show. Do we still know if that was legitimate or?
I think it was legitimate.
Yeah, so Brock Lesnar just didn't show up to the Honda Center.
Like last minute plans?
Yeah.
Or,
yeah.
I think it was partly. I think it was a work thing where, WWE. Obviously, Brock Lesnar wants to make more money. He's in negotiations right now with WWE and UFC. And so what he did on Sunday was he went around the strip and he was taking pictures with Dana White. And so Monday, he's advertised to show up. He's supposed to be there, and he doesn't show up. Maybe Vince McMahon said, hey, let's get more heel heat on you, and let's get people cheering Roman Reigns, because that's what the reports say. They want people to cheer Roman Reigns, make him the face, and make him the face by being that guy who's portrayed as being there every week, just like John Cena was against.
Which is true, though. He's not being portrayed that. He is there every week.
Yeah. He's there every week, but it doesn't matter if you're there every week if you're not that good. And, like in my opinion, Roman Reigns doesn't fulfill the face of the company requirements that other superstars have, like Austin, and we're going to talk about that.
Hard to compare Roman Reigns to Steve Austin.
Yeah, that's a big.
I'm sorry to say this, but if you're the face of the company, you're going to get comparisons like that. Austin, Hulk Hogan, The Rock at one point, Bruno, all these great wrestlers who have represented the company throughout history. Yeah, you're going to get that criticism. You're going to get compared. Is it unfair? I agree, probably. But at the end of the day, that's just the way our society is. We compare individuals in the same caliber, But I think that whole situation with Brock Lesnar not showing up on Raw was part strategic, and it was part on the WWE's part as well to get people to cheer Roman Reigns and make him look like the hero.
Wait a minute. So you're saying that they planned him not showing up?
Yep.
Okay, but you
And then
just
Brock-
you
and
just
then-
said you thought
and
it was
then Brock
legitimate that he no-showed.
And then Brock Lesnar also probably didn't want. And then Brock Lesnar also was probably playing a little game too. I mean, part of it was a game
Doesn't make
on
any
Sunday.
sense.
Okay, so Sunday
That doesn't
night.
make any sense.
Do you think he has?
So did he
But-
know? Oh, hold on. No, I personally was mad when I heard that he wasn't there.
I wasn't really mad.
I
'cause
was disappointed. One of the reasons I
What-
wanted to go to Raw is I thought there was a chance I might see Brock Lesnar in person, because Brock Lesnar is a rare human being to see in person, a lot like a Braun Strowman, right? It was cool to see Braun Strowman. But if Brock's advertised for the show, and he's literally advertised like 30 minutes before he's even supposed to come out, and then he doesn't show up, I kind of have the right to be mad at that, right?
Well, it says card subject to change, as always.
No, but
Card subject to change.
I get that, but that just means I have to be okay with it? No.
No.
No, we say, like you mentioned this a lot. You pay your money to see something, and then something doesn't happen. You can be disappointed.
But when we
Correct.
paid for our tickets, we didn't know Brock Lesnar was showing up until a few days before.
No,
event.
but we had a hunch that he might show up, because it's the night after a pay-per-view, and he's the Universal Champion and all this stuff. We're smart enough wrestling fans to know that he was probably going to show up, correct?
That's true, but we're
Yeah.
also smart enough wrestling fans to know that the cards change. I think I misspoke a little bit when I said that it was on Brock Lesnar. I think it was mostly on WWE's
Okay,
part.
yeah.
But at the end of the day, Brock Lesnar was strategic in the way he handled
Well,
the Dana White situation.
What would happen if The Rock was scheduled to show up at the Raw event and he didn't show up?
The Rock wouldn't do that.
No, but see,
Yeah,
that's
The
the
Rock
thing.
would
sure?
do that.
Just because he
Yeah.
wouldn't. No, but see, that's the problem, is that we're kind of giving Lesnar a pass because he's such a badass. I'm not giving him a pass. I lost a lot of respect for Brock, if indeed it's not a strategic
Man,
thing.
you are getting manipulated by the WWE so hard, man.
Ryan,
You are
you're literally
getting
you're guessing. You don't
you're
know if he
brainwashed.
actually you don't know if
You
he
don't know
actually was-
either. You don't know either.
Correct, but all I know is he was advertised for that show on. I'm not even talking about by WWE. I'm talking about when you see commercials about that Raw on, like, I'm watching a Ducks game, for example, and then they go, "Hey, at the Honda Center, Brock Lesnar is going to be at Raw," and then he's not at Raw. I lost a little bit of respect. Either that, I lost a little bit of respect for WWE for advertising stuff and not having guys show up, or I lost respect for Brock. Someone's in trouble here, and I'm kind of mad about it because I want to see Brock Lesnar live.
Man's trying to make a little bit more money.
He probably
I
is.
mean, that's just
I don't
the
give
way
a
it
shit.
is.
I don't give a shit if he wants to make more money. If he's advertised for the fans, that's like saying your favorite pitcher for the Dodgers wants to make more money, so he doesn't show up for the World
He
Series.
probably hates California, dude.
You know,
Hey, man.
I'm just saying,
Maybe he doesn't want to come to Anaheim. Look,
like the Miz.
It's not too
Like
big.
the Miz.
It's not too big enough.
it's not too
That
big
that
enough.
money isn't enough, man.
Oh,
Well,
that
Eric,
part-
what's your take on the whole Brock Lesnar thing?
Well, like I was telling you before when we were at the event, like, oh well, I'm excited to see Brock. This is the first
Exactly,
time
yeah.
I get to see this this monster. This guy that, to me, like to any Dragon Ball Z fan out there who looks like Broly, Billy Broly, but to be honest, when Roman said, "Oh yeah, he's not gonna be here," I'm like, well, I'm not sure whether to believe that, because I don't know if Roman is gonna have a match after this promo, and he's probably going to be put in the main event. I thought that Brock was going to interfere in that match later on, but eventually that wasn't the case. So I said to myself, okay, there's got to be something else. There's got to be some sort of problem with his flight, or maybe he
Ain't
didn't.
no problem with this flight. He was in
Yeah.
Vegas.
You drive 3 hours over
He
there.
drive 4 hours to Vegas.
What
I mean,
happens?
to Anaheim.
What happens if he doesn't want to drive?
You can get Paul Heyman to drive him.
I don't think he drives. Like he just gets a rental car, I guess.
Paul Heyman could get one of his assistants who does everything for him to drive them. Okay.
Well, that could be one of the cases, but I don't know. I think for Brock, there was probably last minute changes at the start of the event. I think there was, and to me, it's kind of still no excuse for him not to show up. At the same time, there's still no excuse for that, because he was advertised in the first place. He was advertised even before, like weeks before the event, when they were going to come to Anaheim. But then again, there's always sometimes that says card is subject to change.
Not sometimes, always.
Always. Okay, so always. That's always the case. Sometimes WWE likes to swerve us. They like to swerve us, think that they think that us fans or the internet fans, they think that they know everything, all the answers to what the star of the show is going to be like. Spoilers. Sometimes WWE likes to swerve us, so we could also be, falling for that trap too. So it goes both ways. To me, it goes both ways. I don't know, and I also hear that Brock Lesnar will not be there next week in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
So basically, we're not doing any true build until after Fastlane. Is that what we're getting to now?
Which is like super disappointing because although the Roman promo was a good one, I actually am going to debate with you guys. That might have been his best promo ever that he's ever hit. Ever hit.
His best promo was after WrestleMania last year, after he beat the Undertaker, when he just simply said, "This is my yard now."
No. I think there's a difference with that one though, because I think that was more of a scripted promo for him to go out there. Hey,
nobody knew.
Go out there. No. I think
knew they were gonna cuss him out of the building.
I think
badly.
No, not that badly. The crowd did help out with that whole situation. But I do believe that was more of, hey, Roman, go out there, you're going to get booed, and just say this one thing, and then go out.
And make sure that you milk it and don't say anything until you know you've got the crowd in the palm of your hand.
I think this one necessarily was, hey, Roman, go out there and talk shit on Brock. Because whether it was planned or whether not it was, I think they just said, hey, you go off the cup and you say it. Because that didn't seem like a scripted promo to me. It seemed like a legitimate promo, and it was way better than the ones he did with John Cena, I'll tell you that. And that's why I think
I actually liked his ones with John Cena a little bit too.
Well, yeah, but that was just straight real stuff. I think that's a little different than promo. I think this one, whether it was planned or not, they said go out there, Roman, hit a promo, and he hit a promo, which is something he doesn't usually do. So I'm just giving him credit. I think it was one of his better promos since he's joined.
But what were you doing at the beginning when Roman Reigns first came out? What did you do?
Well, I was booing him because that's a thing to do. It's a thing to boo Roman Reigns, just like it's a thing to say.
And do this Ryan rants, man.
It's a thing to do. Well, actually, wait. I'm actually gonna let Ryan do it right after this segment too, because I know you want to talk about it, and we've been talking about it a lot. But it's the same thing with.
I got one of my RKJ Man analogies. Y'all gonna love this.
Yeah.
one.
Oh, there's gonna be 5 of them in there. You know it.
Yeah.
But I compare it a little bit to the John Cena sucks thing when he comes out and you sing his song. It's John Cena sucks. I mean, the little kid next to me was doing it too. Okay.
Oh, salute to that little kid, by the way. That little kid did not like John Cena. That little kid did not like Roman Reigns.
He's smart.
No, he actually did like Roman. He did like Roman Reigns.
Oh, really?
He did like Roman Reigns. Yeah, but he didn't like John Cena, which was kind of weird because normally kids are gonna like John Cena, and I don't mind John Cena either. I was excited to see him at Raw.
I think he probably thinks that at least he's better than freaking Cena. At least he's got some skills.
Yeah, exactly.
He probably thinks that way.
But no. So I think that it's a little comparable. Booing Roman Reigns is a thing to do in WWE, just like doing the yes chant is a thing to do in WWE. But that doesn't mean that if he hits a great promo, we can't appreciate it.
Unless you're in Philly.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but I'm not from Philly, so I could care less.
I don't appreciate hypocrisy.
Okay. Well, let's. What else did happen on Raw? Because I know Ryan wants to do. Actually, you know what we should do? Ryan wants to do Ryan rants so bad. Let's
get to
cut into this segment.
Let's cut into
We're going halfway. We're going halfway into the segment.
All right.
This is now.
Turn my mic on.
This is now Ryan rants.
This is your
spot.
This is your spot.
Turn
Your
my mic
spotlight.
on.
All right.
This is my spotlight. Hey man, I don't get y'all. I really don't. You know what y'all are like? Y'all are like that female who gets that text message at 3 a.m. in the morning from her ex that says come through, and she decides to come through. I don't get y'all. I really don't. So let me get this straight. After all this time of saying Roman sucks, we're booing Roman Reigns. After all this time of saying Roman Reigns is not ready to be the face of the company, we're annoyed because the Elimination Chamber match was predictable as hell. We're annoyed because Roman Reigns is main eventing for what it seems like the 4th or 5th WrestleMania in a row. We're annoyed because this Brock Lesnar match is predictable as hell. We're annoyed because Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns is happening again after we see WrestleMania or after WrestleMania 31. you guys stand up there and let the WWE manipulate you yet again, and you go back to the same old BS that we had with John Cena. Because this is what used to happen with John Cena. John Cena would be this crappy baby face that nobody liked, that everybody would boo, but then you would cut one good promo and people would be like, oh my God, that's a good promo. And then for a few weeks he gets cheered and he gets loved because he starts showing a little bit of different things to his character. And then after that, after he overcomes them odds, guess what? He's the same old crappy baby face that we hated all over again, and the cycle continues. And y'all are just doing that right now with Roman Reigns. So my question is this: what are you going to do with Roman Reigns? Okay, are you going to boo the man or are you going to cheer the man? Don't get manipulated now, because we all got manipulated besides me, okay? And we know how big the power of this microphone that I'm speaking to you right now is, okay? And Roman Reigns just used this microphone as a manipulation tool. Roman Reigns and the WWE used this microphone as a manipulation tool against you guys. And you guys got easily manipulated, okay? We buy this WWE network. We go to these shows and we get the opportunity to voice our opinion. And when you don't voice your opinion, when you let somebody go ahead and make your opinion or develop an opinion for you, then that's when you're getting brainwashed. It happens all the time in society. We've seen democracies get built on this. We've also seen dictatorships get built off of this. And the WWE is the dictatorship of wrestling right now. They own the wrestling world and they can do whatever they want to. And you guys let Roman Reigns come over here, make one good promo, say one good promo, and now you're saying, oh my goodness, I'm going to cheer Roman Reigns. It was scary. I saw people just booing the living crap out of him. Then he starts talking about Brock Lesnar and this and this and that. You know what? So what? You know why Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns gets the opportunity to come and go as he pleases and gets paid a crap ton of money? Because he's damn good at what he does. And I just don't feel like Roman Reigns has gotten there yet. Is he a good in-ring worker? Yes. But does he have the personality to be the face of the company? Absolutely not. That's the reason why Brock Lesnar. You know what, Roman Reigns? Go into UFC and compete in UFC, win the UFC Heavyweight Championship. Go in the NFL. Oh, my bad. You failed in football. Okay, so go.
So did Brock.
Yeah, Brock. Go in football and try to do that. And go in UFC again. And then come back to the WWE and tell me. And then draw pay-per-views in both UFC and WWE and come back to me. And don't give me this BS like, oh, my God, Roman Reigns has been in every WrestleMania main event and they've done high grossing. That's WrestleMania. WrestleMania sells itself, okay? We can do James Ellsworth versus Becky Lynch for the WrestleMania main event, and that would sell out. We can bring him back, man. You could do John Cena versus Lance Storm. I saw him tweeting this morning about that, or yesterday, and you can get him as the highest, and that would be a WrestleMania. That WrestleMania would sell out tickets. WrestleMania sells itself. So let's stop getting manipulated, y'all, okay, by Roman Reigns. Let's stop getting manipulated by these promos, okay? Don't get easily fooled, okay? Because the WWE is playing that game on you. And after WrestleMania, guess what? Roman Reigns is going to overcome them odds again. So that's just the way it is. All I can say is be careful what you hear. Be careful of what you wish for.
Well, I do want to add to that, like, what can you do? What can he do to improve himself? Like, because I know, like, you were just putting a lot of negative things onto Roman, but what is the thing that he can improve the most?
It's a good question.
First of all, I just want to say this. I do not hate Roman Reigns, the person.
Oh, that sure sounds like it.
Okay?
You just compared him to a dictator.
I did not compare him to a dictator. I said the WWE is a dictatorship. I did not say Roman Reigns was a dictator. I said the WWE is a monopoly. The WWE is a monopoly, okay, Nick? They own the wrestling industry, and that much is a fact, okay? Its TNA is not even close. New Japan Pro Wrestling in Japan is a big deal, but in the United States, only to cult wrestling fans who really, really watch the product in their mom's basement, like in the house late at night. You know, they got another site on that we're not going to talk about that they go to
Pornhub. Yeah, I'll just say
Nick
it.
just said it.
That's
I'm
the
not
one.
saying
I mean,
that.
that's the one.
You know, those guys, those are hardcore New Japan wrestling fans, and I want New Japan to compete. But the WWE is a monopoly. Whatever they say goes, okay? And you know what? When they can control these wrestlers and manipulate them and do whatever they can with their contracts, then you truly know it's a monopoly. It wasn't like this back in the 90s when you had ECW, WCW, WWE, and then you had Japan doing their thing, and then you had these countless indie scenes. And yes, the indie scene is growing, but nobody really knows about that because the WWE span reaches too long. Okay, I hear Jonathan Coachman say things such as Roman Reigns haters don't have a valid reason other than I hate Roman Reigns. No, I do have a valid reason, Jonathan Coachman.
Yeah,
Roman Reigns. Yeah, that's BS,
That's
by the
wrong.
way.
Yeah,
That's BS. I totally
There's
disagree.
reasons Roman sucks.
There's reasons.
There's reasons.
There's reasons. Number one, his promo skills are god awful.
Except for on Monday. Except for on Monday. That
I'm
was
not
a good
gonna
promo.
count 3 times that.
I'm
I
just
mean,
saying.
you know, like this ain't baseball, Nick. If you hit 3 out of 10, you get a $20 million contract.
But that
I mean,
one
like-
guy that hits one out of the park, no pun intended, you're gonna celebrate it. That's a very good example, actually. That's a very good analogy. You're acting like just because we
I'm
don't
on
like
fire with these analogies today, man.
Yeah, we're acting like that if Roman Reigns
3 a.m. come through, y'all.
RKJ Man is fire.
if we're acting like if you're going to a baseball game and you don't like a certain player, but he hits a home run for your team, you're not allowed to cheer for him. That's kind of what you're saying here.
Say it again. I'm sorry. I wasn't really paying attention. My bad.
If you're at a baseball game, right, and there's a guy you don't like, and that the team is pushing his merchandise and saying, hey, this guy's really good for us, even though we don't necessarily think he's that good. But then he goes up and hits a 3-run home run to give you the lead in the 8th inning. Are we not allowed to cheer for him?
In that instance, possibly, but where's the
That's
consistency?
so ridiculous. Ryan,
But
you
where's
are
the
going to cheer for him. What do you
where's
mean
the
possibly?
consistency? Where's the consistency?
What do you mean possibly, though? You're still going to cheer the dude that hits the home run.
Where is the consistency? I want
Man.
promos to be that good every week. If Roman Reigns can give me a solid 2 months of those types of, actually no, it's WrestleMania season. His promos are going to be on point. If Roman Reigns can give me this promo
He's finding every way to hit the guy on
in June, in July, in September when football season just started, if he can find a way to hit those types of promos and those types of matches and those types of quality material, if the WWE can give him that type of quality material, then I will give him respect, okay? I'm not saying Roman Reigns doesn't have the potential. I honestly don't think anybody in the WWE can really be on par with Roman Reigns right now, to be honest with you. Seth Rollins is a close number 2, but he's got to improve in his likability. I just don't think he has a likability that everybody can get on. He has women. Does he have kids? No. I saw no Seth Rollins shirts. I saw all dudes wearing Seth Rollins shirts. Okay?
You saw no women wearing.
I saw what is it? What did I say?
I'm confused. That's why
Okay.
I'm asking.
All right.
Yeah,
I saw no kids wearing Seth Rollins shirts.
Okay, there you
I
go.
saw dudes. So remember what I said a few weeks ago, Nick?
It's mostly young adults that are wearing Seth Rollins shirts.
You've got to have the women. You've got to have the kids. Those are the 2 top demographics, I believe, because those will bring in the guys, okay? Those automatically brings in the guys who buys the merchandise or whatnot. So Roman Reigns has both. He has the women and kids. John Cena, we already know he has both, the women and the kids. Seth Rollins does not. Finn Balor actually does. It's weird how many Finn Balor shirts and Finn Balor signs. On the right side of us, we had a kid who had a Finn Balor sign. She had Finn Balor merchandise on. People like the Demon character. Kids like the Demon character. It's just Finn Balor is vanilla bland. I mean, besides Finn Balor and the Demon character, there's nothing else to the man other than he's a great wrestler.
Well, Strowman's,
And he looks really good.
He
He's
looks
got
really
a 6.
good.
He got 8-pack.
He's got an 8-pack.
Everything, yeah.
Women love him. They
Well,
think he's hot. He's dating Kathy Kelly. I
Yeah.
mean, salute to Finn Balor.
Well,
but-
Strowman's getting also.
Salute to Finn Balor.
Strowman is also getting to that point as well, where his merchandise is getting pretty good.
Yep.
I think so.
And the kids like him too. I think the kids were cheering him too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing that I love about these live events is you get to see the reaction of kids who are the future they're the future WWE people.
Future
they're gonna
little
be
John Cena.
they're the future us. They're the future ring generals. Okay, they're little mini lieutenants.
Yeah.
So,
The little lieutenants.
We'll probably be old and bald once we freaking.
But yeah, oh no, we still gonna be young, man.
I ain't gonna be bald. I don't know about you, Eric, but I ain't gonna be
I ain't
bald.
gonna be bald.
Well,
I'm black, so I look good when I'm bald. So it don't
Ryan
matter.
always Ryan's haircuts make him always look bald, so
Yeah.
it's not gonna look any different.
That is
Unless
true.
you grow facial hair, that's the thing.
I'm not growing facial
No, you're
hair.
not.
I don't
You
like
gotta
it.
think about growing out facial hair.
I don't like it. I like it without without the facial hair.
Get that
The
Mike
baby
Tyson
fish.
kind of
I don't think
The
that.
baby-
Have
the
you ever
baby
seen him with facial hair
face.
before?
I never.
I don't
seen
think
a
I-
facial
I
hair.
have.
I don't. I feel like I don't. I've never seen it
Dude,
before.
I came in here 2 weeks ago with some facial hair.
Mine
I-
probably was like the smallest facial hair ever.
Yeah.
You should get that Apollo Creed freaking mustache, going.
You should. You should get that Apollo Crews facial
Screw
hair
Apollo
going.
Crews, okay? He doesn't even deserve to be called Apollo Crews. Apollo.
But so back to what you were saying. You were saying that Roman Reigns is number one, right? That's what you were saying. You were saying
Yes,
that, yeah.
Roman Reigns is being portrayed as the top guy in the company.
Okay. So, but
And I'm sorry, his
Yeah, yeah.
predictable booking. His booking is BS, okay? We know if he loses multiple times, he's going to win in the overall grand scheme of things. Let's have a storyline. You know what I thought a few years ago, Roman Reigns, after the draft went down, he lost to Finn Balor, and that was the perfect opportunity to do some type of either redemption storyline or even to turn him heel. And I feel like the WWE, much like with John Cena, they refuse to do things that can go out of the creative norm, the creative box of the WWE traditional form. They have a standard, and we're going to follow this standard, okay? I think, why not try to experiment every now and then? Why not, after Finn Balor was celebrating a few years ago in Raw, why not have Roman Reigns just attack the crap out of him and turn heel right there in the process? That was a great Raw, but it would have been even better had Roman Reigns turned heel. That would have broke the internet.
Yeah, this isn't the first time that I saw Roman be heel. He was a heel guy in FCW before he joined with the Raw brand. He was wearing suits. He was wearing
As the
sunglasses.
Shield.
Yeah, before the Shield, with Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And so, Roman, he played the heel part in FCW pretty well. It's just that he wasn't getting that much, publicity. I know, but like at a grander stage, I think he would have played a better heel role. But like you said, and WWE refuses to, have him turn heel, and it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad because they don't care. They're not gonna care what we say. They're not going to care what we voice. They're going to do what they want to do. They want to push Roman as far as they can because at the end of the day, whatever we say, we are still going to buy WrestleMania. We are still going to buy those pay-per-views. We're still going to those live events, whether you like it or not.
We just dropped a lot of money on Raw this past Monday. So the question is this. Does it get to the point now where if Roman Reigns beats Brock Lesnar...
You mean when he beats Brock
When he
Lesnar?
beats
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar. I should say when. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Not if. When he beats Brock Lesnar. This isn't like WrestleMania 31 where it was up in the air. This is guaranteed. Okay? This is guaranteed. There's no Seth Rollins running down here this time. Okay, y'all?
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
so are we going to boycott the product? Because at some point...
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
All
No.
right. Well,
Yeah.
you're gonna...
I don't think you are either.
Throw trash, dude. That's what I
mean,
think.
Number
would-
one,
I've had-
we have a pro wrestling podcast, so it'd be hard to boycott WWE.
I'm just saying, I
Let's
didn't
say
have
it.
the network for a while, before this podcast, and the only reason why why I have the network right now is because of Road to WrestleMania. There's no guarantee I'm keeping the network past WrestleMania season. There's no guarantee.
Because if Roman wins, right?
I mean, not even that. I mean, I don't think
Or
the
just
network.
financial,
No,
See-
not financial.
see,
It's
right-
$9.99. I just don't want to. I just don't want to freaking they don't
The
give
guy
me
just
enough
took an Uber to the
content.
podcast
They
today.
they don't give me enough content to actually care too much about it anymore. I've watched everything now that I've wanted to watch. I mean, it's whatever, Y'all leave a comment. Y'all tell us what y'all think
Absolutely.
about this whole Roman Reigns situation on our YouTube, our SoundCloud. You can hit us up on our social media and tell us what you think about this Roman Reigns, the promo in general, Ryan Rants, and what you think about the road to WrestleMania. Are you even excited about the road to WrestleMania, y'all? Are y'all excited?
Nah.
I'm sort of excited. I
Well-
like Ronda Rousey. I'm interested.
Yeah, the
to
Ronda
see it.
Rousey
I like her
segment, yeah.
chances. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like to me, I'll watch the pay-per-view as long as the card is solid. And looking at this year's card, I don't.
And
I don't know.
One of my main issues with the WWE is that they, for some whatever reason, the past couple years, maybe it's because of injuries, they never really have the plans in place until a few weeks out. Unless it's for a few matches, and even those could change. I don't understand. It used to be back in the day where they would have matches planned out a year in advance from one WrestleMania to another WrestleMania, they would kind of have an idea for a couple of matches. Now it's or even if you're on mid-card matches, you have that about 6 months planned out. Now they don't really have it planned out.
Somewhat this Reigns Lesnar match was
planned out for a year.
Yeah, so
we all know
they
that.
did do that though. They did do the main event a year in advance. Because I remember Paul Heyman hitting that promo about Roman Reigns and about beating the Undertaker, and Roman Reigns beating the Undertaker was a way to say that he was going to be the WWE champion. I think the problem with it is we all know the Undertaker's a shell of himself, so you beating Undertaker kind of made sense, right? Like I'm going to pick Roman Reigns every time against the Undertaker now because Undertaker sucks. Yeah, he's
John Cena.
Now. No, exactly. So I just think that it's the booking. I do agree needs to be more kind of planned out. I think from the Royal Rumble rather than these pay-per-views. And I actually think them going to these cross-branded pay-per-views all the time is going to clear up space for there only to be one pay-per-view after the Royal Rumble instead of two, which is going to be great. We've talked about that in the past, me and you, Ryan, about the fact that there needs to be only one pay-per-view after the Royal Rumble besides two.
There needs to be the Elimination Chamber, and then you have 6 weeks of build for WrestleMania.
Absolutely, 100%. And Raw has that, and Raw is being perceived as the better show right now because they have more superstars and they have a longer show. But they have that. SmackDown doesn't have that right now, and I think that's one of the reasons why they're lacking. But let's transition to SmackDown.
Hold on. Real quickly. I've seen this comparison, and I got to ask y'all. People are comparing Ronda Rousey and Stephanie McMahon to Vince McMahon and Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Wait, what?
No, that's stupid. It's not the same thing.
They want it to be.
Stone Cold Steve Austin was a professional wrestler his whole life and built up storylines and built up his character. Ronda Rousey's a UFC fighter.
Their storyline right now, they want to compare it, but I don't see it because Ronda Rousey doesn't have that. With Steve Austin, it was years of pent up frustration. I'm being held down by the man. I'm not going to let this guy hold me down anymore. Yeah. You know, Ronda Rousey's only been here a couple of weeks.
Well, it's not enough build.
Yeah.
Maybe if this has been happening since SummerSlam. Yeah, maybe.
So is this coming from Vince or is this coming from?
Yeah, where are you hearing
this is a lot of fans speculating.
Okay, so it's
that
fans.
The WWE want to do this,
but it's not. It's speculation. So that it's not the WWE saying, "Oh, look at this rivalry. It looks like you're."
But you're damn sure that they're gonna bring it up one day on television. They're gonna try to make a reference to it either on the WWE social media.
Maybe, but again, it's just fans guessing. Okay. It's not. How
about this? I'll give it credit. I'm pretty sure they're gonna try to make this feud. They're gonna add some heat to this feud. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a pretty good feud. But as far as comparing them to Stone Cold, to these past feuds, Austin and Rock, and great feuds that we had in the past. Yeah, let's guys, relax.
Pump the brakes on that one.
Relax, guys, relax. Let's not get a little bit too excited for that. Okay,
you got to chill, bro.
Yeah. No, it's not comparable, obviously, and anybody that thinks it is. Where you been? Maybe if you're not a wrestling fan,
what
you're
smoking?
This for the first
time.
What
you smoking? Because Nick would like some.
Exactly.
I know.
But
you just put the pipe down, all right? Put the pipe down.
Wow, somehow it's perceived to be doing crack all the time.
I know.
Right there. Man, Eric thinks I do crack.
Give your dealer.
I mean, I know my opinions are kind of crazy sometimes.
Give your dealer a break, okay? Give him a vacation. Just put the pipe down, relax. And let's stop comparing to great feuds to that because I don't see it.
And that's in a once in a lifetime feud, man. And what's happened? I mean, and every 5-10 years we see Vince McMahon get stunned by Stone Cold. So it's always great to see anyway. So
it's every 3 years we see Triple H get hip tossed by Ronda Rousey.
Yeah,
it ain't the same thing. No, but here's something to talk about though. I want to extend a little bit more on this because we do need to get to the SmackDown and talk about John Cena and all that.
And the Undertaker thing too.
And
that had a big pop on Monday night.
Transition that into SmackDown. We've been talking about Raw for almost 40 minutes now, so we got to transition. But
yeah, we're like the WWE. Give more emphasis to Raw than SmackDown.
But my brother actually told me the other day. He's like, what's wrong with Ronda Rousey? Why do her mic skills suck? So do we see that too?
The first night her mic skills were pretty crappy.
Yeah.
Her second night she sounded a little bit better. I do think she needs Paul Heyman, and I brought this up before it was speculated that she was going to be with Paul Heyman. That just seemed like the perfect route for Paul Heyman to go after Brock Lesnar left. I think having her be on the microphone with Kurt Angle. By the way, I'm dreading the match itself. I'm not dreading the build, the match itself with Kurt Angle. I just don't. I think Kurt Angle looks
Kurt Angle looked okay in those matches
awful.
he was with
I
earlier
think
this
he
year,
looks. I'm afraid for the man. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. I'm afraid for my Olympic gold medalist, my Olympic gold hero, my Olympic hero. I'm afraid for him because the man just looks terrible. He looks like he's gonna croak in the middle of the ring. I mean, like, I don't want him messing up his neck. I don't, his promos are messed up. Like,
I'm sure
he's a
WWE.
shell of
I'm sure
himself.
WWE, with the way they've treated other wrestlers, would not put him in the ring if they thought he
Well-
would get hurt.
And that's the problem. So you're gonna clear Kurt Angle with all his history, but you're not gonna clear Daniel Bryan?
Well, Daniel Bryan's. I think it's a little different with him because it's a head injury.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
right.
He got cleared by doctors at UCLA. Independent
Why does that matter
neurologists.
to me? Why'd you point at me when you said that?
Well, you're a UCLA guy, right?
Oh, I am a fan of the team.
Okay.
That doesn't mean I care about their medicine.
Whatever.
Yeah.
But look,
The
UCLA.
medical
I like
personnel.
their football
Jeez,
team.
man.
I like
and
their football
We
team.
also live in southern California, so UCLA, USC, all
Okay,
that stuff.
yeah, get
okay.
on with it. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
But look, I mean, he got cleared by independent neurologists, just like these footballs doing it. Everybody's saying, "Oh, you got to get cleared by independent neurologists." Well, Daniel Bryan went outside of the WWE, and the WWE has cleared Paige, and Paige was told by her doctor that she was not allowed to work. She shouldn't be working anymore in the ring after her neck injury. So why are we clearing Kurt Angle? Kurt Angle shouldn't be wrestling. Put Braun Strowman, put Seth Rollins in there. Let Kurt Angle be out in the build and let somebody else come to his aid.
That's the thing I don't get. I mean, like, I felt like, WWE was going to clear Daniel Bryan for a match with him and Shane McMahon. I thought that was going to be like an overall match that they were going to have at WrestleMania. But seeing how WWE is being stubborn with, not clearing Daniel Bryan, I don't know. Like, do you think that Shane will be at a WrestleMania match like last year? Do you think so?
I have no clue what Shane's doing. I've heard so many rumors. I've heard Shane versus Rusev.
So we switching to SmackDown?
I've heard Shane
We
versus.
switching to SmackDown right now?
Yeah, let's switch to my
Okay,
favorite
yeah, so
brand.
we're switching
Who
to
gets-
SmackDown.
Who gets crapped
You're
on?
wearing blue, dude. You're wearing blue.
I'm wearing blue.
So-
Yeah.
I'm wearing the same thing I wore the other day. I
He's
just didn't.
literally wearing the same thing
I
he wore
didn't
to
care.
Raw.
I
Yeah.
didn't care. Like this morning when I got up, I wasn't feeling good. I just got up and I was just like, oh, whatever. I'm wearing whatever. John Cena in that promo he cut on Monday night, and then he goes to SmackDown on Tuesday night. He goes and asks for an opportunity. He gets it. He beats the WWE champion. It's a 6-pack challenge. First of all, I hate the way they're making AJ Styles look. Why is he losing? Why didn't they have John Cena get beat? Why is he not facing Shinsuke? What is Shinsuke doing at Fastlane? Why is this a 6-pack challenge?
It's a mess.
It's a mess. Guess what, guys? This is the first part of the show that I'm going to say this. It's a complete
Oh,
disaster.
there it is again.
Hold on,
There
I'll
it
say it for those of you who can't hear me. It was a complete disaster.
But
Been told I'm not loud enough on the mic, so complete disaster.
there's it. You sounded good. The levels are good for you
You're
today,
good, man.
Ryan.
You're
I've been
good.
watching them the whole time, making sure. I know you told me about that. The
Yes,
levels have been good.
yes.
So once again, give us feedback on what Ryan's levels were. Since
Yeah.
since he assumes that he's not good on his levels.
Yes.
He's gonna make a big deal out of it.
Yes.
But,
I sent the whole text message about it. They didn't even respond.
So we got a 6. Well, but we just didn't care. We're just like, okay, fix the levels. Like it's not
We're
hard.
gonna have to do a podcast about levels then.
100%. Yeah, that should be my completely random topic. But no, so 6-pack challenge. Obviously, we add John Cena in. I still see this as a way to see. I don't know if we were talking about this on the podcast or we were talking about this before. You guys can fill me in on this, but the thing with John Cena is in the whole Undertaker shout out, the whole thing. And there's Ryan's phone from North Carolina calling him right now, so he's got to pick that
You
up.
have to make that public.
He's got
man.
didn't put his
Jeez.
didn't put his phone on airplane mode. Ryan, I'll tell you this, man. The levels of your phone are pretty good today. Okay, I could hear that, and it interrupted me.
Well, I gotta tell you, man.
Someone doesn't want me to give John Cena credit on this show.
Sean Seaman? What?
John Seaman? Is that
Wait,
what?
what?
You said John Cena.
Come on, man.
Completely
Come on, man.
messed
This is
up.
getting off the rails, man. We start talking about SmackDown and phones start ringing. Somehow we talk about semen. It's just not good right
Anything
This
goes here at the
This
podcast.
is the way the WWE thinks about SmackDown.
now. Oh man. Okay. But no. So John, I still think this is a ploy for something else that's going to happen. Obviously, I don't think he's going to end up being in a WWE Championship match at WrestleMania. But it is interesting. I did not think he'd be put in a match for the WWE Championship, though, either on SmackDown. I was a little surprised about that. And I think, man, they're really ruining this WWE Championship match at Fastlane, I'll tell you that. And when you say it's a complete disaster, I'm kind of thinking the same thing, too. Like, it should have been, first of all, this match shouldn't even be happening. There should be, like, a number one contenders match or whatever. I don't even know. There should be...
It should be a tag team match because it should already be set in stone that Shinsuke Nakamura and AJ Styles are facing each other at WrestleMania.
That's the planned match for WrestleMania.
It doesn't always have to be a title match at the pay-per-view before WrestleMania.
Especially putting the title on the line, AJ Styles, who does not deserve to be having put this stuff on him every week.
That's the kind of treatment that the champion is getting on SmackDown.
And look at those crowds, man. I mean, look at those crowds for SmackDown. A few weeks ago in Phoenix, that thing on the hard camera side, that thing wasn't even close to full.
I think the problem with that is they do the two shows in the one city, and I think that hurts attendance because people go, oh, I'd rather go to Raw, like there's if SmackDown, if you have a show say in Phoenix, have SmackDown in Tucson. But then people go, oh, well, I don't want to drive 3 hours to go to Phoenix to go watch it. So SmackDown's coming to Tucson. Okay, I'll watch it in Tucson. Then you're gonna get more full crowd. I think that's just booking by the WWE and putting the same show in the same arena 2 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are gonna want to go to Raw. That's the name they know more. Yeah. It's on Monday night, which is. It's just a more. It's funny.
We know wrestling on Monday nights.
Well, it's also a more known day during the week.
Yeah.
Like Monday's just a more popular day than Tuesday.
Really, nobody likes Monday.
No, but everybody knows that
The whole
Monday
song
sucks.
was made about Tuesday.
I can't
Going up
sta-
on a Tuesday.
I can't stand on Tuesday. Okay, I can't stand
I was
Tuesday.
about
Okay,
to sing it, but I'm not going to sing it.
Don't sing it, man. Don't sing it.
I can't stand Tuesday.
I'll sing it on my segment. No, so I think that with this six-pack challenge, they just I don't know. It's I'm not that excited about it. I think John Cena's going to lose. I don't think he's going to win. And what I mean by lose, he's not going to win the match. I don't necessarily know.
Wonder what his plans are.
I would have him get pinned.
Well, yeah, but then you're kind of killing his character.
No.
Then he looks really bad.
Yeah, you got to make him look bad going to WrestleMania. Like, you don't even deserve a match going into
Ooh,
WrestleMania.
okay, that's
season.
interesting booking there by Ryan. I actually kind of like
You
that.
don't even deserve a match going into WrestleMania
harsh,
season.
man.
And then you get The Undertaker or Booyaka 619.
Yeah, so Ryan, you know more about this than I think me and Eric do. So what are these rumors you're hearing about Rey Mysterio and Mr. John Cena?
Well, there's a rumor going around. First of all, it was reported by SI.com that Rey Mysterio was backstage at this week's SmackDown Live show because he is negotiating with the WWE. Now, we all know that Rey Mysterio came back at the Royal Rumble, and it was a great pop. He looked in great shape. He's constantly been wrestling. We've seen him on Lucha Underground. He's been rumored to be signing a deal with TNA, Global Force Wrestling, whatever the heck they're calling their name now. And so now it's a situation where Rey Mysterio is in negotiations, and Triple H allegedly is handling the negotiations. And also, it's been rumored that John Cena and Undertaker is not really happening. So that makes that promo actually legitimate coming from John Cena on Monday night. So we may be getting John Cena and Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania instead of Undertaker. Now, I think this is all a little bit of hearsay. I think this is complete BS. I think either that or the WWE is leaking this on purpose to get people swayed away from John Cena and Undertaker. But I think having a John Cena Rey Mysterio match is completely a feud. It's completely random, and John Cena would have to be the heel in this situation because you can't boo Rey Mysterio.
Well, Cena has been kind of having a little bit of heel tendencies lately. With the Royal Rumble, he seemed like a little bit of a heel. Some of the promos he's been hitting, even the one on Raw, kind of swerving the crowd. That's not a John Cena thing to do.
I think it's due to the cause.
That is a John Cena.
I think it's due to the fact that he's part-time now, and I think that there's no reason for him to maybe go to that hero side of his because he doesn't really show up. You know, his contract, I believe it's part time, I believe. So I think he's kind of losing that sort of
that passion.
Yeah, passion. I don't know.
I don't think he's losing the passion. I just think. Go ahead, sir.
I think due to fan base, I think, yes, his name is still out there. His name is pretty relevant, but since he's part time, I don't think he has, every reason to be like the good guy, like play the good guy every single day. So, he probably sees Rey Mysterio, since him coming back, this will give a chance for Rey to get, play the hero part. Who doesn't like Rey Mysterio? To me, he'll always be my favorite. Rey, I think he will come back as, like the hero. And if they are going to lock in a feud, there's got to be some sort of like kind of like a really personal kind of feud with these two.
Yeah. I think the only way this match really will be successful is if John Cena just plays the full heel. That'd get me in on the match.
I don't know how you even build up this feud. How do you build up a feud like this?
Well, it'd have to start next SmackDown or something. I don't know. Maybe you have.
You would have to have it the SmackDown after Fastlane.
No, you could do this. You could have Rey Mysterio be, hey, Rey Mysterio's coming back at Fastlane. He's having his first match back because obviously he was at the Royal Rumble and stuff, and I had a feeling he'd eventually be back with the company. I didn't think that was just a one-off thing, but I think you could have this. You could have a match at SmackDown with somebody. It's kind of a match just to put him over, and you have John Cena come out and AM 3 times, right? And John Cena turns heel, right?
That seems very random.
It's very random, but so is this feud. I'm saying this is the only way this could work. If this is what you're saying that they're going to have a match, how are they going to do the match? I think the only way you could do it is have John Cena be a full heel, and for some reason, just turn on Rey Mysterio, and then you create some storyline behind it.
Nah.
Well, then, okay, Ryan, then give me your way this is going to work.
Make it a 7-way at Fastlane.
Oh, man, that's terrible.
And then have...
That's terrible.
That's
terrible booking.
I don't know what else to do. That's why I said, why are you negotiating with Rey Mysterio? It has to be The Undertaker. Because
every other Rey Mysterio.
Every other creative decision that we're bringing up doesn't make any sense because Rey Mysterio can't be a heel and John Cena can't turn heel in 3 weeks. That has to be a long build.
They're probably going to be cheered for both favorites. Both of them, they're going to have a feud, but it's out of respect that they're going to be on the up.
Those feuds
who
suck.
cares about that?
I know they're going to suck, but like I said before, they're going to do whatever they want to do. Whether you like it or not, we're still going to see this match, and they are going to see. This feud between Rey Mysterio and Cena, and they're going to be paired up in a tag team match on SmackDown, and they're going to be put up in triple threat matches together or handicap matches.
I'm tired of these tag team matches.
And then after that, probably 6-man tag team match. And then they're going to bring in Theodore Long to do like these 8-man tag team matches. And after that, Rey Mysterio and Cena, they're going to look at each other, and then they're going to point the sign.
The whole thing planned out.
They're looking at the sign, they're shaking their hand, and then they stare at each other. And after that, I'll see you at WrestleMania. And then that's when WrestleMania, that's when the match happens. Boom, there you go. SmackDown, that's your booking.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That was Eric Rance, by the way. No,
yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Good guy.
Here's
it all.
We're trying
to hire this man right now.
we're trying to figure it out. I think there's only one answer to this. Undertaker and John Cena are having a match at WrestleMania, and they're trying to swerve us. And they're trying to make it seem like it's not going to happen.
And they're swerving the crap out of us. And I think Rey Mysterio will come back in some part in the Cruiserweight 205 Live division because they need Rey Mysterio in that division to make it relevant again.
True, but it's actually been kind of becoming relevant a little bit with Triple H booking the show, somewhat.
Well, I thought
that's why Triple H is negotiating with Rey Mysterio.
I thought Enzo.
Oh, see, we just figured it out right there.
I thought Enzo sort of made it relevant. Enzo Amore.
No,
he made it irrelevant.
Yeah, he made it irrelevant by giving up his title because he has allegations against him. But no. I
got 2.5 Instagram followers.
Exactly. We're trying to figure out why
allegedly
this match would happen between Rey Mysterio and John Cena. I don't think it is. I think it's The Undertaker, and I think they're giving time for the John Cena thing, like you're right, the John Cena despair thing to kind of build up where, oh, he's just not that good anymore. He doesn't have a WrestleMania match. Then the Undertaker's dong will eventually hit on SmackDown or Raw. I still think he can come back to Raw in 2 weeks and just be like, I'm coming to Raw again. I don't have anything to do on SmackDown. And then, the gong hits and they have the match. I think that match is still happening. And I think what he did on Raw was in a way starting the feud for the match by even mentioning that they could have that match. I think that was the first step.
It actually started a few years ago when legends come rise from the dead. That was a nod to the Undertaker. He made that comment about the WrestleMania about 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, so you said 2-3 months ago.
No,
so
I'm sorry. Did I say months ago?
You said months ago.
Weeks ago. My bad, y'all. But
we'll run the tape and we'll see.
But yeah, it'll be on the segments.
Yeah, but he I remember that too. Yeah, no, I believe that too, and that's why I think this is just all a build toward it, and even him being in the Elimination Chamber was sort of a build because there was no way he was going to win that match. So I think this is all a build for the Undertaker, whether it be a SmackDown feud or a Raw feud, doesn't matter to me. It's still Undertaker versus John Cena, and I will be excited to see this match. I'm
scared for the Undertaker and how he's gonna look. I mean, I know I saw him working out on Michelle McCool's Instagram. I sent you guys a link to that. Like, he's working out with her, but will it be enough? Like, can he get in shape? Like, he has to lose a little bit of the gut. I mean, like, I'm nervous.
Well, he can look good and all that. He can look great. He can be in great shape. It's just for so many years, his injuries, his knee injuries, his arm, his full body, his hip. He's been hurting, and I am kind of concerned for Undertaker. It's just that the fans just demand for him to return. To have one last match because they weren't happy about how he went out losing to Roman. Or to some fans, not accepting the fact that Roman beat him. And, that just does concern me, because Undertaker, all these years he's been hurting, and I don't know, like you said, is it enough for him to come back? Like, will he be, 100%? Because if he's not, then we're going to be having a really half-ass match at WrestleMania. He's going to be, like, slower, like, he won't be performing the rate how we've been seeing him for these past few years,
I liked what the WWE did a long time ago, way back in like 2010, 2011, when they compared him to the last Outlaw. He's that last big frontier. Like, he represents all these 3 eras, whether it's the New Generation era, the Attitude era, the ruthless aggression era. He's a bridge to all those eras, and he's the last bridge in that era. He truly is. He's the last guy in that era, and after he's gone, there will never be another Undertaker. There will never be another bridge between these eras again.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you're not going to get it. You can't get that feeling. I thought Bray Wyatt was the closest one, but he's now the eater of pinfalls. So, I mean, he's
feuding with Matt, so we're going to see Matt versus Bray Wyatt WrestleMania.
Yeah, but that would have not been nearly as big had they given him the Undertaker rub a few years ago over Brock Lesnar, in my opinion.
You're saying
Bray Wyatt should have beat the streak, yes. That's what I'm saying.
Really?
I'm saying Bray Wyatt should have beat the
that.
streak.
Although the match that I think every wrestling fan should have seen for a long time ago, I think the 2 franchise players at WrestleMania, to me, this is coming from me, Undertaker versus Sting.
Man, you ruined this thing. You just interrupted the middle of it.
Versus Sting.
Man.
All right, so that is the feud, and that is the match to me that will always stick out in my head. That should have been WrestleMania 31, not Triple H versus Sting, because to me, I don't care. I don't know what was going in Triple H's head, because Triple H was saying this is the match that everybody wanted to see. What are you talking about, dude? I never asked for this match. Okay, maybe at SummerSlam you guys can have that match at SummerSlam or Royal Rumble, but WrestleMania? Hell no, man. That match is reserved for Sting and Undertaker. All right? That is the match that I think every wrestling fan, every fan who's been a fan of Sting for so many years and a fan of Undertaker, that they've been wanting to see ever since WCW went, collapsed. So that's my thing. But I don't know. and a little bit too late for that now since Sting is retired.
Well, and the other match that we've always wanted to see with the Undertaker is John Cena, and now
That's
we
also another one, too.
possibly have that match.
So let me tell you. So we've gotten back-to-back matches with Triple H. We've gotten back-to-back matches with Shawn Michaels. One of those years it could have been John Cena, and then another one of those years it could have been what? Sting.
Yeah.
If you could have lured him away from TNA fast enough, you could have gotten that. And then what else? Is there another match you wanted to see with Sting?
Oh.
Bray Wyatt. I wanted to see Bray Wyatt. We got Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 31, but it was a squash.
Well, there was also Shawn Michaels versus Sting. That was also another match that should have happened like before too. But maybe you can have that at SummerSlam. You know.
Oh, Shawn Michaels retired now. He's a happily retired man.
Yeah, that's also another one. But I'm actually going to talk about dream matches in my indie update. But
let's talk about the indie update.
Let's do the indie update. You want to do the indie update?
Yeah.
All right.
This is Eric's indie update right here.
Okay, so we're switching from WrestleMania to indie update. So right now, I just got breaking news that at WrestleCon, we're going to be having the stars of Impact Wrestling versus the stars of Lucha Underground. And it's going to be available on Twitch. That was actually breaking news of what I found out today, earlier this morning. And as soon as I found out about it, I was wondering like, whoa, this is going to be good. This is going to be cool. Dream matches, you know, that we've been waiting to see from Impact Wrestling to Lucha Underground. So that's also another event that I would like to see. So, and also there's also at the Rock and Wrestling ship cruise that Chris Jericho just hosted. We all know that Kenny Omega is boarding the ship, but also two other guys boarded the ship, and it happens to be the Briscoes from the Ring of Honor. Briscoes are, of course, they are boarding the ship, and who knows what those guys are going to do. Those guys are probably one of the best tag team wrestlers in Ring of Honor, so I have yet to see what's going on with them. And also in AAA, Hijo del Fantasma is going to take on Tejano Jr. in a couple of days, and it's going to be a mask versus hair match.
Is that my boy Zero Fear? Or Zero
Mil Muertes?
Oh,
no, that's not him. That's Mil Muertes. No, that's Pentagon Dark. Yeah, that's Pentagon Dark. No, Pentagon Dark. I don't think he will be wrestling AAA. I think he is scheduled to be at a taping at Lucha Underground, because right now Lucha Underground, they are doing their tapes. And I just heard also recently that Vanilla Ice has attended one of the Lucha Underground events. Yeah, so.
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah, Vanilla Ice.
Oh, that is random.
Yeah, so he attended one of the events, so, you know, we'll probably be seeing him as soon as the show will be presented at El Rey Network. And, you know, that's another guy, you know, Pentagon Dark. At first, he started off as a bad guy, but he is the most over guy in Lucha Underground, you know. And I remember recently, a couple months ago, I saw this guy. He was driving his car, and he had Cero Miedo stickers, Pentagon Dark stickers on his car. And I realized, like, whoa, this guy, Pentagon Dark, this guy is important. Like, this guy is the Lucha Underground, you know. He is in Lucha Underground. And this guy, he's basically the top guy in Lucha Underground. And I'm not sure if you've seen season 4. No, season 3. Ryan, have you?
Nope.
No,
Don't spoil it.
I haven't seen it either.
Okay, so I won't spoil it for you guys, but I'll say this: Pentagon Dark, he's become the franchise player. I'll say that. He's become the franchise player.
Zero Miedo.
Yeah. So, yeah, I suggest you watch season 3 for you know.
Watch it when it comes out on Netflix.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Like everybody else.
Yes, and by that time, I'm pretty sure season 4 will start.
Pretty much. That's how it always happens.
Whatever. It's still got to see it though.
Yeah.
Still got to see it.
Yeah. So that's the indie update. So as far as dream matches go, check it out at twitch.com for WrestleCon. Impact Wrestling stars up against Lucha Underground.
Nick, what completely random, crazy topic are we talking about today? First of all, can I guess it today?
You can guess it, but you're not going to get it right.
Let me see.
He's not going to get it right.
Does it have anything to do with politics?
No.
Anything? Okay, I don't want to hear anything about politics.
But if it was my completely random segment, you would have to talk about politics, though.
Let's see.
No, you already got it wrong. No, you already got it wrong.
I got it
you
wrong
don't get
already.
another. You don't get
I
another
wanted to
guess.
try multiple times.
No, you
All
don't
right,
get another
Let's
guess.
just
No.
get on with
let's
it.
get on the
Yeah,
segment.
exactly.
Let's tell.
So
Eric's like, let's just get on with it.
here, this is Nick's. Yeah, exactly. This is stupid. But this is Nick's completely random non-wrestling segment of the day. So there's no wrestling, Eric, to be talked about in this segment. You talked
No
about it
wrestling.
last week.
No
Yeah.
wrestling.
But so Ryan and I went to Hooters after Monday Night Raw.
Oh.
Okay, we went to Hooters, and I had a discussion with the waitress about nachos and how if you order nachos, you're not supposed to like bring them home or whatever. So I'm just gonna I'm gonna gravitate to you guys, and I want to know if you order like an appetizer, a huge appetizer of food at a restaurant. What do you think the rules are with that? Are you allowed to bring them home?
Of course, you're allowed to bring that home,
At
especially
least you ask for a box. You know,
exactly.
Yeah,
So we're all in agreement.
appetizers
on this,
are
right?
expensive these days. Food in general is expensive.
I know.
Exactly. That's why you gotta get those. You gotta
If you're
get those.
freaking hungry, you gotta eat.
You gotta
okay?
eat, especially if you're broke and you got a little bit of money, man. You gotta take advantage of that when you got it. So
Survive, man.
you survive, man.
Damn right. No, exactly.
Dude, that's what I do. I ask for a box. Like, hey, can I ask for a box?
So you order more food than usual, and then you order a box.
Yeah, because the next day or like the
Exactly.
night after.
You know what I had for lunch the next day, Ryan?
You had
I
nachos.
I had those damn nachos, bro. I had those damn nachos.
Dude, she even said it. She was like, "Yeah, man, like all the cooks apparently would criticize her because like she was bringing nachos home, and she was like, I don't know why. She was like, this is enough
that's
to
what I'm
feed me
saying.
for the whole day.
So I didn't know if you guys agreed with the waitress or the staff in
I
this
take it home, dude.
situation.
I take it home.
I'll
So
take
we're
it
all
home,
taking the food
man.
home. Absolutely. So anybody out there that shames people for taking food home in a dog, I call it a doggy bag still too.
Yeah,
you guys still
doggy
call
bag.
it that?
Salute to the
It's-
doggy
it's-
bag.
it's- salute to the doggy
I love
bag.
the doggy bag.
Salute to the doggy
Speaking
bag.
of which, that Golden Corral is opening very soon near where I live. So
Oh, this is a super random segment.
oh,
We
yeah.
gotta go though. So what kind of food do they sell at Golden Corral?
You don't know? Oh, you haven't been to Golden Corral?
I've never been to
Eric,
Golden Corral in my
have you
life.
ever
I've never
to-
been there.
Dude,
Yeah.
it's a buffet food, man. It's
Oh,
all you
buffet.
can eat.
Whoa,
It's all you
okay,
can
there
eat
we go.
buffet.
Buffet,
All you can eat
sweet.
buffet. My
I
mom
love
and dad
buffet.
told me the next day, they was like, Ryan, that Golden Corral's opening up very soon. They got signs and everything. I was like,
Okay.
I gotta get to the gym ASAP so I can get to this Golden Corral in 2 months.
Okay. What kind of food? What kind of food do they have? as far as
Everything
buffet?
you can think of. They got Mexican food. They've got normal American food like fried chicken, macaroni and cheese, mashed potatoes and gravy. They've got ribs. They got prime rib. They got turkey. They got ham up in that mother Canucka.
Damn, dude.
Very good, Ryan. Very good.
You just
Very good.
You just gave him a plug, dude.
He just hit a Golden Corral promo.
Yeah,
You-
man.
You should be the spokesperson.
Shoot, I might have to work there part-time so I could get a 50% discount.
You know, when originally, I don't know what this was, but when originally you said that it was a buffet food, Eric pounded his fist into his hand. What was that supposed to mean?
He's going to pound that buffet.
He's gonna pound that buffet.
Dinner is served for me.
Good segment, guys. It's always nice to talk about food.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh.
Making me hungry.
We got
I'm
Golden
hungry
Corral.
right now.
Yeah.
I need some breakfast right now.
Absolutely.
I guess I'm going to get some of this breakfast burrito.
I actually was gonna say that. Like, are you gonna get a breakfast burrito? You just read my mind.
I'm going to get that real fast from the campus, actually. They
From
have
campus, actually?
They actually have good breakfast burritos.
It's very insider stuff
Yeah.
that you're talking about right now.
Yeah, it's very
People
it's a-
listening they're like, the hell are they talking about?
breakfast
burrito.
breakfast burritos are life, though. You know it.
Breakfast burritos are life.
Yeah.
At least
yeah.
for the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little later.
So we
but
can
that's
all
not-
agree.
Just to get you going. For
So
the
we can
morning.
all agree it's okay to take food home.
Absolutely.
Yes, I
You know,
agree.
you just-
100%.
Yes.
Now, what about if you're at like a cookout or something and something like that?
Yeah, that's a little different.
But if the people say, "Hey, man, take as much food as you want home,"
I'm taking as much food as I want
That's
home.
what I'm doing.
I
Yeah.
take people literally when that happens too. Like they go,
haven't we done that in my place? Like, hey, take as much food as you want home. And
I
take it-
usually don't take food home from your house.
Oh,
Though.
really?
No,
Oh, next time bring over
because
some
you guys
Tupperware.
make it, so it's like I'm not gonna take your food that you guys
Okay,
made.
if we have a big dinner and we invite you next time, bring some Tupperware over. We always recommend people to bring Tupperware
oh,
over.
that's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine with me.
Bring some
foil.
Yeah.
Maybe, you know.
Nah, Tupperware.
Eric needs to come to one of these Ryan Johnson cookouts at his house. Some
I've
good
only-
stuff, man.
Don't be telling the whole
Some
world
good-
about
it's
it.
some good-
Don't
it's some
be-
good stuff, man.
RKJ Man cookouts. Edit that out, sir.
Yeah, the address is no. I'm just kidding.
It's a private
Okay.
cookout.
Yeah, it's a
The
private
Ryan Johnson cookouts. Ryan wants,
RKJ Man cookout.
yeah. Except, yeah, Ryan said his name once again on the podcast. He wants to be the RKJ Man, but
I did not say Ryan John. I'm
I
RKJ Man.
think he did. I think he might have.
Well, we have a segment named Ryan Rants. We're gonna have to change that.
No,
up.
we're not changing
The
it. We're not-
thirsty moment of the week.
That's for
Thirsty moment of the week is Ryan salivating over Golden Corral this week.
Ooh.
That's what it is.
Oh my goodness!
That's
I
what
want
it
to get
is.
in on that Golden Corral. Woo.
So that we'll have to go to Golden Corral, but I think it's so.
And then me salivating over Noah Foley this week.
Oh yeah.
That's
Yeah.
true. Yeah.
She was gorgeous.
tall.
Ryan
She's a
did
tall
movements
person.
toward his pants when he saw
No,
her.
no, no. I wanted to talk to her, but she was like, she had that look on her face with that guy talking to her, like, I'm kind of uncomfortable, but I'm being nice and I'm smiling, but I really don't want to talk to him now.
That's the price of being
Yeah.
Mick Foley's daughter.
Yeah,
okay.
we've always
and
seen it.
hot. Too.
Yeah, yeah, like she was gorgeous, and I wanted to go up there and say, "Hey, what's up? How are you?" Like, I'm a huge fan of your father and all this stuff, but I didn't want to come off awkward. So it is what it is.
You have to be smooth. That's
Raw will
why.
be in
So
Anaheim.
Ryan ruined his chance.
Raw will be
100%.
Raw will be in Anaheim again. Well, I didn't because she's dating a clown, like
Who
I
cares if
said.
she's dating? She's dating a clown. This is exactly why you should have talked to
She's
her.
dating the
Should've
clown.
been like, why are you
And
dating
the clown
this
is a
clown?
good-looking dude. The clown's a good-looking dude when he doesn't have his clown stuff on. Okay.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
But so let's transition to our third topic of the triple threat topics of the day. We're going to talk a little UFC because we got some news going on. Obviously, we talked about Brock Lesnar a little early in the show and how he's been taking photos and shipping the fans at WWE. But let's start this segment talking about Jon Jones. Because Jon Jones had his hearing with the California State Athletic Commission about his doping and about his steroid allegations and use and his failed test after he defeated Daniel Cormier at I forget which UFC it was, but
It was in Anaheim. Yeah.
yeah, he was actually at Anaheim.
in
Yeah, funny
Anaheim,
enough. But so that's why the commission had the hearing for Jon Jones, and what came out of it was that Jon Jones is banned from fighting in the state of California, which is obviously super disappointing for people like us that might have wanted to go see a Jon Jones fight at the Honda Center or at the Staples Center.
It's always special
Yeah.
to see
It's okay.
Jones.
Exactly.
Go to Las Vegas.
We could, and you are,
Just
but
go up to Vegas.
but so it is a little disappointing. But
Or Arizona.
but do we think, guys, that this might be the start of a couple more bans for Jon Jones? Do we think
or anybody else.
Well,
Yeah.
that too.
Brock Lesnar's, we still don't know his situation going into his possible going crossing back over
Well,
to
I
UFC.
think he was only suspended for a year, so that should be over.
But
now.
wasn't he only suspended if he was competing in UFC? And so now that he's in WWE, it doesn't count. So if he goes back over to UFC, he's going to have to serve out that suspension. So that's another year we have to wait on Jon Jones versus Brock Lesnar. That matchup won't even be as good as we want it to be in another year or two. If
Oh
we
no,
have
that
to
will
wait.
still be a banger of a fight.
No, Jones.
No way.
If Jones is really thinking about fighting Brock Lesnar, then he would have to meet Brock Lesnar's weight. He would have to meet.
All he has to
200
get up to is the 225.
225.
Yeah.
And Lesnar cut his weight, down if he wants to face, Jon Jones. And as far as Brock Lesnar, him, still taking the juice, because I know that guy was, juiced up when he faced Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
He was suspended for a year, and I don't know. I don't know how long UFC is going to keep, giving Brock Lesnar chance, special privileges, as far as fighting, because the guy, he does bring a lot of people to the arenas, especially in the UFC. He was a draw in the UFC. So do you think that might be some sort of a thing why they don't suspend him or they don't punish him? Because
You're
he
saying
draws
Brock?
Yeah, Brock.
Oh well, no, but they did suspend him though. That's
Yeah.
the thing. But I think first of all that'd be ridiculous to say that just because he hasn't been fighting in the UFC, the suspension doesn't count.
Right.
Okay. If a guy just figures out that he's a really pro wrestler and wants to go over and take advantage of that, go ahead. WWE didn't suspend him. Okay, because they didn't catch him with steroids.
Well,
USADA did.
Well, they said it was because he's a part-timer. He doesn't adhere to the wellness policy as full-timers.
Okay, that's kind of ridiculous from WWE. That's
So that
very
means-
very hypocritical.
That means all part-timers are probably taking steroids, y'all, or something worse,
Hey,
or HGH,
go ahead,
allegedly.
Go ahead and do it. But no. So I do think if he wants to go fight in the UFC after WrestleMania or whenever he's going to leave, I think he should be allowed to. He served his 1 year. If it's just because he wasn't training for the UFC, which he could just be saying he was, just be like, I've been training for the UFC the whole time. I was just suspended. So what the hell was I supposed to do?
I think he's always been training for for the UFC for quite a while. There's also like rumors that or fans in demand who want to see Brock Lesnar up against Stipe. Or I think that's just coming from Joey Diaz.
That's probably just coming straight from Joey Diaz. By the way, Joey Diaz was on Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast.
Oh, really?
So me and you got to listen to that, man. I found that out yesterday. Oh, man, those are two of the funniest guys ever. And they're on a podcast together. Ryan, I recommend you listen to that, too. I've showed you some Joey Diaz stuff before, too.
Oh, I love me, Joey Diaz.
He's so funny.
That guy has a lot of...
He's a funny MFer, bro.
That guy...
He's a funny MFer.
That guy has, like, a lot of stories that...
Craziest stories ever.
I don't even know if they're, like, fake or he just, like... exaggerates or he just like
I don't know, but
just
it's
for the sake
the way
of
he
viewership.
Exactly, and the way he perceives or translates them into podcast gold is amazing.
Yeah. No, yeah.
But
definitely.
let's stop talking about Joey Diaz.
Mm-hmm.
So Brock Lesnar, obviously we would all three of us like to see him fight, but he's not banned in California.
No, he's
like
not.
Jon Jones is.
Right.
So let's get back to Jon Jones a little bit. Remember, I posed the question. You guys didn't really answer it. Do we think this means that he possibly could get banned in, like, say, Nevada or New York or other places? Is this the start of more punishment for Jon Jones, or do you think this is just California being strict?
California being strict.
Yeah, California being strict. I wouldn't necessarily see Nevada, banning Jon Jones anytime soon. I don't think just yet, unless, Jones cleans himself up. I don't see New York banning him either. I think just like Nevada, they will completely keep him. I don't think Nevada's that strict as California is. Jones, since that is UFC's landmark right there for Nevada to bring in a lot of awesome, good fights, and that's also the fight. That's also the Las Vegas. That's where we're gonna see Triple G versus Canelo at the T-Mobile Arena.
Yeah, they had press conference the other day.
Yeah, they did. So, and Cinco de Mayo and May the 5th. So we're going to see that. But Jones, I don't really see himself being banned in Nevada. I don't think so.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be a little bit of a stretch to ban him, because that's fight capital world, okay? And if you're banning a guy out of a city that literally every fight pretty much happens in, it would get a little ridiculous. But I don't know. I still think the evidence behind Jon Jones's steroid stuff is a little choppy anyways. I don't think necessarily that it does seem like he's being a little more sincere now, and his explanations during this commission hearing were very realistic to me. He was kind of saying, why would I take steroids two days before the fight? Why would I? After all I've done and stuff like that.
Well,
but
I think it's because he got busted one time earlier, and so they're just coming down on him harder now, because it's like, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice,
absolutely,
shame on you.
And I'm trying to find some of these quotes real quick.
So I mean, when it comes to Jon Jones, I mean, with his situation, I think people are just frustrated, because if we give you one time where you make a mistake, that's fine. But if you make that same mistake twice, you're a dumbass. So I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, you're a dumbass.
That's true.
You can't make that same mistake twice. So that's the consequences you take. But do I think we're getting Brock Lesnar and Jon Jones in about a year or so? Sooner rather than, eventually down the road? Yes. Yeah. My thing is this. I don't think Brock Lesnar should go to UFC. I don't think Brock Lesnar can make it in UFC as a 40-something-year-old man anymore. I think he should stay behind in WWE, where he can get that nice salary, only show up a few times a year, and just keep racking in the paychecks.
Well, also,
but maybe he's just bored with WWE. He wants to be competitive again. I don't know.
I mean, Brock said, I know Paul Heyman will say this, like, Brock does what he wants whenever he does. If he wants to fight in the octagon, he will fight in the octagon. That's how Brock is. But, Brock, coming from him, he said it himself as well. He said that he only got a couple of years to do this in WWE. I think this was back in 2015 when he was with that Austin podcast. He was saying that, I only got a few years to do this, so, I'm having a good time. But for UFC, you only fight like 2 or 3 times a year, So that's also for him, to him it's win-win. And him showing up in WWE, he's part-time. And I'm pretty sure like for Brock, it just depends on, what he wants, what kind of like how much money he's getting paid. That's the thing. He only cares about when do I show up, when do I get the hell out of here, and how much I get paid. That's it. He doesn't care.
And I can respect that.
Yeah.
I can respect that. You go, you make your money. These corporations don't care about you, man. You go and you make your money and you get the heck out.
Yeah. You clock in, clock out. Everybody does that, he says, I just show up, like a guy that I work, I clock in, I clock out. What's wrong with that? So Brock, I don't know what his plans are. Is he going to stay in WWE? Like, to me personally, that would be cool if he stays in WWE, but, as far as UFC is concerned, I don't know what Dana White said to him when he was in Vegas this past weekend. I don't know what Dana and Brock Lesnar had, but I'm pretty sure they were in negotiations. And so I'm pretty sure Dana would love to have Brock in the UFC because he knows Brock is a draw. He knows how much money he would generate just to have his name in the UFC events. And I'm pretty sure we would probably like to have Jon Jones versus Brock Lesnar in about a year until Jones clears himself out, with his steroids, problems.
Well, plus, I think with Brock, especially, you look at steroids or not, he still won a fight. Okay, at UFC 200, he still beat Mark Hunt, who's a legitimate heavyweight fighter.
He would knock anybody out with just one punch.
Well, no, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not like he went in and beat a CM Punk type of MMA fighter. Okay,
he got mauled, dude, by Mickey.
No, of course, and so it's not like he did that.
By the
He
way,
went
what's
in.
going on with Mickey Gal?
Well, we'll get into that in a second. Hold on. But I actually don't know either, which is funny. So, but I was gonna say something about CM Punk. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
And we didn't actually promote this, so we didn't promote this, but we're gonna talk about something that I heard about the other day. But so I think Brock, if he were to go back, I don't see it being a multi-fight thing. I think it'd be more of a one fight thing, or if it was more than one fight, it would be, okay, hey Dana, you know how much of a draw I am. Give me one fight. If I beat one of your legitimate heavyweights, I get a shot at the heavyweight championship. Boom. And I'll retire after that fight or whatever. I think that could happen. And Brock can win. He can win. And obviously, if he can beat a legitimate UFC fighter in the heavyweight division, he deserves a title shot. How crazy is that if he became the UFC title holder again? But I think as far as him staying with WWE, I don't see that happening. I don't think there's a lot of stuff with him still to go. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of plans he can even do that would be super, super interesting to me, at least as a wrestling fan. And him being that occasional draw and all that other stuff, I think it's harder for me as a wrestling fan to even be like, okay, well, that Brock Lesnar fight's going to be huge. Well, he's kind of faced everybody. He's faced Cena, Orton, Styles, Seth Rollins. I mean, the list goes on. Roman Reigns, everybody. So even Goldberg, for hell's sake. I do think that he will end up going back to UFC. I could see it being multi-fights, but I think it'll only be one. And Jon Jones, hopefully he can get better and end the suspension as soon as possible. But it does suck that he won't be fighting in California.
Yeah, I mean, we would love to have a fight like that, especially if it's taking place in Anaheim. I was kind of stupid that I had to miss out on Jones versus DC when they were here in the area.
Yeah, would have been a good fight.
Yeah, it would have been good. It would have been good. But also, Nick, Ryan, did you also hear at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, some of the UFC guys were there?
I did not.
Yeah.
No, I did not
It
hear
looks
about
like
this.
the WWE, as much as fans, we want to say that WWE and UFC have beef. Like, they actually have good terms.
Not at all.
No,
They're on
they
good
don't have.
terms.
It's just the fans. I think it's just the fans. They hype it up, or sometimes other UFC fans, they're just not fans, or they don't even know the product. But the ones who do know, I think the reason why DC, Cain Velasquez, Travis Brown, of course Travis Brown being the husband of Ronda Rousey, they were all there to see Ronda Rousey's contract signing. Of course they were there, but also I'm pretty sure they wanted to have a good time. They wanted to have a good time, and they know some of the guys from the WWE as well, because they have good relationship with the guys. I mean, this was Cain Velasquez's first ever wrestling event, and Cain Velasquez, he had his El Santo mask, and Cain Velasquez, he said that like this is my first ever event. Yeah, right now Nick's showing it, and this is his first event, and he said that he called out Brock Lesnar. He said, "And Brock, I wouldn't mind taking another belt from you." So, who knows? We might also see Cain Velasquez versus Brock Lesnar in the UFC
or in
Part
WWE.
2. Who knows? Maybe.
That's a stretch.
Yeah.
Hey,
Well,
man,
I don't
it's
see
happening.
Cain Velasquez coming to WWE.
Right.
It's a little bit of a stretch.
Hasn't he talked about it before?
well,
He's talked about it before.
I don't know. I mean,
Maybe.
him from looking like as a fan, I'm pretty sure it would be cool for him. But I know he would love to have Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez, Part 2, because I'm pretty sure that's another fight that Brock would probably want to have, as a revenge. But I'm pretty sure Cain and DC, Travis, and the other guys, they all had fun. It looks like they all had fun.
Oh, absolutely.
So they were all in Las Vegas because the Elimination Chamber was in Las Vegas. So I'm pretty sure they had a blast, and that should I think that should like clear up to some fans, who are fans of the UFC.
Exactly.
That should clear things up that they're not in bad terms. UFC fighters, and I'm pretty sure Bellator fighters, they watch the product, and I'm pretty sure a lot of WWE guys, they watch the product from the UFC as well.
Yeah.
So I don't see any heat. I don't see any of that. It's
and here's the thing. It's UFC fans go, oh, that's stupid fake wrestling with their fake outcomes and all that stuff. That's their thing. And then I think WWE fans go, okay, well, that's boring. Your fights could end in 2 seconds if we pay for a whole fight. So there's legitimate reasons why you wouldn't like either one. Right. But why not just like both, like we do?
I know.
We all like both.
Same for
right. And I like boxing too.
Yeah, same for boxing. There's also that debate with boxing as well. There's also the UFC fans that say like, oh no, well boxing, for boxing they only just rely on just one sport, which is just punching.
But that's the sport.
Yeah, that's the sport.
What are they supposed to do about it? Start kicking?
Yeah.
That's kickboxing.
And then
it's not the sport.
And then in boxing they say like, oh, we don't promote bloodshed and we don't promote freaking pit bull fights because they look like pit bull. There was one of them that actually said that, like,
he said UFC fights look like pit bull fights.
Yeah, some of them look like pit bull fights or human cockfighting.
I mean, more they look more like human cockfighting than boxing does. But
it's funny if you actually look at it.
It's a stupid thing to say.
This is like back in 2006. That's what they said. Yeah.
Back in the day in the WWE, if you look at some of the earlier WWE Monday Night Raws, they would promote UFC on their actual show.
Yeah. And when we saw the one time Brock Lesnar was at UFC 200, they were promoting the UFC as well, and the UFC promoted SummerSlam because so it's not. I don't think there's a heated relationship at all. I think Dana White has said stuff in the past stupidly about WWE and it's all this, but everybody just needs to learn to embrace both. I mean, even Joe Rogan of all people has started to embrace wrestling, and I never thought that would happen. Okay, if you've heard some of the stuff he said about wrestling.
Apparently there's heat between him and Mark Henry now. Apparently he was talking about wrestling holds and stuff like that. Apparently Mark Henry said he was disrespecting wrestling.
Of course he was disrespecting wrestling, but he's a comedian. What the hell is he supposed to do? No, the Mark Henry, calm down, man. Rogan's trying to be funny.
Somebody said Mark Henry, they've heard Mark Henry
But Mark Henry would snap him in half.
They said they've heard Mark Henry talk more in the past couple of months than he's talked in his entire career. Past 15 years.
Yeah, and another thing is that, since having Brock Lesnar crossing over to UFC, NWE, or pro wrestling to MMA, same for Ronda Rousey, vice versa, with her crossing from the UFC over to pro wrestling, that should maybe, like, who knows, maybe in the future we might have something like that.
Oh, that'd be awesome, right? If you had UFC like invade the WWE, how cool! Hey, maybe we're thinking about these wrestling companies, right? And we're like, oh, let's get New Japan. No, let's have the UFC invade them, right?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. So we should end the podcast on that one, right? That idea right there. We'll throw it out there. And by the way, what I was going to talk about earlier, I'm going to actually wait on until next week.
What?
I'm going to wait on until next week because I'm just going to wait. I mean, we're going to get in discussion on it for another 20 minutes, and we don't have enough time for that. So we'll talk about it next week.
Well, you're going to tell us off air, right?
I'll give absolutely 100%.
Tell us off air. So you're going to have to listen next week.
Absolutely. You have to listen next week.
The Ring Generals.
We're going to talk about a possible UFC, or I'll say this, MMA fight that could happen in the future between two legitimate stars in the fight business.
Wait a minute.
So-
Everybody can see this on social media. You might as well just drop it right now.
I'll keep it. I'll keep it.
Drop it right now.
I'll
Is it
keep it.
McGregor?
Suspense.
No, it's not McGregor. See, you
we're
don't
gonna
know.
have
You don't know.
suspense.
You don't know.
I'm
Okay.
hoping it's CM Punk and McGregor.
Okay,
one
no,
day.
but so we'll
be
talk about that
awesome.
next week. But as far as this week, raise a glass to the Ring Generals.
Raise the glass, man.
Hey, raise a glass in the sky and salute the ring generals.